morning and welcome to the Authentic Edge Leadership Huddle. I'm glad to see you today. Our huddle is the place where we take 10 minutes out of our day-to-day game of leadership, and I share one concept with you of things I'm seeing on the field, and you walk away with one play of the day that you can immediately implement. Whether you are watching the replay or whether you're here with us today to play along, make sure that you throw some ideas and comments and reactions into the comments so that I can interact with you, whether it's now or later, around what you're getting from the huddle and what's going on for you. So today, I'd love to talk to you about this tug of war that I've been seeing between our shoulds and our needs. We talk about it in a lot of ways in leadership these days, but it's this whole notion of, well, I really want to go and take a walk, but I should go to the meeting. I really want to be present and calm and connected, but I'm really stressed out about all the things that are going on, and I really need to get a whole bunch done. This tug of war happens, and we don't always win because either our needs don't get met or we don't accomplish the things that we want to accomplish as leaders, right? Does this sound familiar to anybody? This tug of war? If you're playing along, tell me in the comments, what does this feel like when this happens to you? This tug of war that happens. I really need a break, but I have to do X, Y, and Z. It can be draining. It can be exhausting. Sometimes we don't even know it's happening because we're just going on along on automatic pilot. Maybe we don't even realize the tug of war is happening. They tell us, put on your oxygen mask. They tell us time management strategies. They tell us a lot of things, and we work really hard at doing that. But those things have never worked so well for me. What happens to me is I hunker down and my needs don't get met. And yes, Becky, exactly. It feels draining. I'm not accomplishing the shoulds, and I'm also not getting my needs met. And I just get more and more and more drained. And Corey, good to see you. Yeah, it feels overwhelming. So what do we do instead? How do we get out of this tug of war? I think one of my ahas is we actually have to think about it in a different way, right? What if our shoulds aren't just shoulds that can go by the wayside? Have you ever thought about maybe those shoulds are needs too? What if this is a false dichotomy? We all want to be a good leader. A good leader, a good mom, a good spouse, good. We want to be that good leader. Isn't that a need? We want to be valuable to people. We want people to see us as a good leader. We want to belong. We want to meet people's expectations, right? That's a need. So no wonder that when we have a need to be healthy and happy, that this would be a tug of war, right? We want both. But we position it as if one needs to come before the other or one needs to win and one loses. We have to change this paradigm to start realizing we need both. But the problem is, when we try to do both, we try to do work-life balance, it ends up feeling like this. We're trying to be a good mom, good dad, good neighbor, good parent, and a good leader, good colleague. And we're shooting at the targets, but the targets are too broad. And so it feels like we're missing all the time. Isn't this what the draining and overwhelming is? That we feel like we're not measuring up. The target is too big. For those of you who've been following, a couple of huddles ago, I talked about counting your wins, right? And that if we count our wins at the end of the day, that can be very motivating and helpful. If you haven't seen that one, it's a great replay to go watch. But what if we, instead of trying to be a good everything, really took aim? This is today's play of the day. How do we take aim at this and get out of the tug of war altogether and get a both and get a win every single day? Let's do it together. So here's a common scenario. Someone comes up to you and says, or calls you up and says, got a minute? Okay, tell me in the comments, what does that feel like inside of you when you have that big list of shoulds and someone's coming in and saying, hey, got a minute? What is the tug of war that happens? I should be responsive to this person, but I need to get things done, right? I need a break, but they expect my help. How are they not going to get forward? Sometimes we get to this got a minute moment and our stomachs just start to churn. What do you want to be in that moment? Let's use this as an example, right? How do you want to be? What's a good leader when someone comes up to them and says, got a minute? What do you want to be? Do you want to be receptive? Corey, I see you saying yes with a smile. So we don't want it to be a fake smile, right? You want it to be a real smile. So what do you want to be? You want to be real. You want to be authentic, right? You want to be receptive. Maybe responsive is the right word. You want to help them. You want to be helpful. Think about the word that is most important to you. Who do you want? Who is being a good leader for you when someone says, got a minute? Not the fakey version, the real version. For me, it's about being responsive. And I want to be responsive to them and give them whatever they need from me. And I also want to be calm. I don't want to lose my cool and say, well, not right now, come back later. That does not feel like a good leader to me. And I would beat myself up over that if I responded that way. So for me, on my list, I would put responsive and calm. Put what you want on yours, but come up with what the specific thing is you're aiming for besides good leader. Then step 2, tune in. Tune into your body. When I tune into my body about got a minute, I do not want that yucky feeling in my tummy when someone says that. I actually want to be able to respond to them and really not be faking it. And what does my body need to do that? My body needs to not be focusing in on all the have tos and the shoulds and whatever it else is. My body's needs need to get met so that I can be that way. So I can spend a little bit of time thinking, well, what do I need to be able to be responsive and calm? I need a minute before I respond to them immediately. I need a minute. So how do I get that rather than faking it and pretending I feel accessible when I don't and putting on that fake smile? Well, I have to have a conversation with them. This is the part that I think we miss a lot. We make up in our minds what it is that people want from us, and we don't have the conversation with them. What exactly do you need from me? Do you need me to respond in that moment? Or is it okay if I tell you, I'll come by in 10 minutes? How about 10 o'clock? Is it okay if I put that Post-it note on my door and say available at 10 o'clock? Is that enough to be responsive? How do I do that? If we do these things, if we tune in, we can do a both and we can be really specific about the wins and what they are and what we're trying to accomplish. We can get to the end of the day and say, I was a good listener. I might not have done it the minute they came to me, but I came back at 10 o'clock and I know from my conversation with them that that was exactly what they want me to do, right? And we get out of this tug of war that happens all the time. Now, as always, this concept may be new. It may feel different, not rocket science, but it might feel a little different. So one of the resources that I've created for you is a huddle card. You can go to my website and download the PDF that you can put on your desktop. And not only in there is this concept, but I've turned it into 4 questions that you can use anytime during the day. And you can use it for any scenario, not just the one we talked about today. So you can go download that huddle card. And while you're there, if you want to check out the replay on counting your wins or any of the other huddles that we've had, you can find them there on that website. I am looking forward to having another huddle on July 12th. And right now we've got a poll going on in LinkedIn as to what that topic's going to be. I don't know yet, but you can check that out and sound in on what the topic on July 12th will be. And I hope to see you there. In the meantime, I'll be checking out the comments and chatting with you in between. Thanks for joining me live today. If you want to join me afterwards and talk some more, I'll be on Zoom. I hope your day is great, leaders.